Laurie-Ann knows her stuff, like totally transformed the way that I've been running the speaking end of my business. It's completely changed my mindset about getting gigs. Oh my goodness, things took off like crazy. You taught me how to go out and actually get the gigs and get the gigs booked. It gave me this sense of ease and competency and this satisfaction and this assurance that now I know how to make this happen. And that confidence has improved my ability to sleep through the night. Laurie-Ann is so positive and so supportive. When you work with her, you feel like you've got her in your hip pocket. There's always this voice of encouragement that you can reach out for and just check, am I on the right track? And then when the results start to roll in, at least 300%. I mean, it's totally revolutionized everything. It's so much fun to get in front of a crowd of people and share who you are and share what you do. You do your thing. It's so much fun. And then afterwards, they all want to buy things from you. And then I get paid to speak quite well. And then I make my speaking fee and more selling my product.
If you're like most people, there is so much confusion that I see both from my clients, my students, and just audience members about this having a vision. How is a vision actually supposed to pull you forward? And how does a vision actually help you act as if? If you've got any confusion or you're looking for a great new perspective and even some science behind this, then you're going to love today's episode. Let's get on to the show. You're listening to Be in Demand, the podcast for honest advice, inspiring stories, and ideas for growing your business by leveraging the expert that you are. I'm your host, Laurie-Ann Mirabito, business mentor, and I'm also a reformed painfully shy girl, red wine lover, and exercise enthusiast. Join me as I share how being positioned as the expert in your industry, even if it's a busy one, will help you stand out and be the one in demand to hire and work with. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm so excited to be back here. I was off for a couple of weeks for a little bit of a vacation, and this topic of vision has just kind of come to mind. I get a lot of questions about how did you get over your fear of people and making eye contact and accidentally become a professional speaker? How is it that having a vision actually can pull you forward in the right direction? How is having a vision actually going to help me act as if, and I'm using air quotes with that, because I know it's really confusing. It's really hard for a lot of people to wrap their head around this. And that's why it's so important. That's why I just had to do an episode on this. So let me give you a little bit of science behind this. I heard a study, and I can't remember where I heard the study. But basically, if you think about when you go into a restaurant, the restaurants, sometimes have pictures of their different dishes. A couple of places that come to mind. One is my favorite restaurant, which is a Chinese sushi restaurant. Chinese restaurants, like ethnic food, but not just them. There's like all American places that actually will have pictures. And pictures are like candy for your brain, candy for your subconscious mind, versus if you had to read through the 5 different types of burgers or stir fries that were available, versus you see this picture and it's like, oh, I'll have that. So the studies that they've actually done on this is that pictures sell way more restaurant dishes than if somebody was just reading through the menu. And so I find that fascinating. And it just proves that pictures are candy for your mind. So pictures, having that vision, something that you see, that mental imagery just really can pull us forward. I mean, when you start to think, I think it's Mike Dooley who says he encourages his audience to visualize what they want, the life that they dream about, something that they're trying to manifest, something that they're trying to call in. And he says just daydream about it, see it in your mind for 5 minutes a day. That's it. And let me share with you another piece of science. And this was a study that was done at the University of Chicago back in 2014. And I remember hearing about this years ago. It was a study that was done on a basketball team, and they divided the team up into 3 different groups. The first group, they practiced like they normally practiced, like probably 6 days a week. The other third visualized, so they didn't practice at all. But what they had to do was actually visualize practicing, visualize dribbling the ball, visualize running down the court, visualize, holding the ball and making that shot. And then the other third had no practice whatsoever. The study went on for about 30 days, and here's what they found. The group that practiced like they normally would, their skill level increased by 24%. The group that didn't practice at all had no improvements, and that was no big surprise. However, the group that actually visualized, did the mental imagery for practice, they increased their skill level, get this, by 23%. 23% without actually practicing. So you're probably thinking, like, how does that work? And the way that it works is that you're building those neurological pathways. You're holding that ball, you're shooting it, like your brain sees it and it's like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what we're supposed to do. Remember, the subconscious brain doesn't know reality from fiction. So that's why this mental imagery exercise is so darn important. So what are you trying to actually visualize? Like, what is the vision that you have for yourself, your business, your family? That if you actually looked at it, saw it in your mind, like close your eyes and just imagine it, put yourself in that spot, running your 6-figure business, running your 7-figure business, having a team of people, running a marathon, having that house, having that vacation house, like out along the beach and waking up to the ocean every single day. If you actually start thinking about that, put yourself in that very moment, your brain is going to start pulling you forward. You are going to start, like, here's where some more neuroscience comes in. You're going to start to notice, like, here's an opportunity, and this sounds like a really good opportunity for me to take, because remember, part of that subconscious brain is that reticular activating system, which is constantly looking for clues or steps along the way for whatever it is that you want. You tell your brain, hey, here's what I need. Here's what I want. And it just like, okay, remember, it's shuffling through all the different pieces of data that you're looking at, you're hearing, and it's actually pulling things out that, like, hey, you need to pay attention to this. Because remember, like I keep saying, the subconscious brain is actually like your private assistant, and it doesn't want to bother you with the mundane. It just wants to keep your life on repetition, because that's actually taking a little less brain power. So that's what, like, your subconscious brain is doing, and consciously adding in this mental imagery exercise is actually going to pull you forward so much faster. So let me touch on something that I shared with you earlier, a couple more stories that really will solidify this. Because a lot of people ask me, like, how did you accidentally become a professional speaker accidentally? How is it that you went from being afraid of, like, I couldn't even make eye contact with people, to becoming a speaker, getting up on stage, getting in front of hundreds and hundreds of people to speak? And it all started back in high school. I had joined a gym and I was taking group fitness classes. And because I was shy, I was in the back. I was way in the back of the room, because I didn't want anyone to see me. But then I got this idea in my head. I'd really like to be that fitness instructor. I'd like to be guiding this class. I'd like to be instructing. So I slowly started to move to the front of the room. But at the same time, whatever the instructor was telling us to do, whether that's push-ups, whether it was a step class, whether we were doing, like some sort of crunches or something. I just kind of imagined that I was the person who was actually saying that. So after the instructor would, give us the instructions, in my head, I was the one who was in the front of the room giving those instructions. I slowly made it to the front of the room. Well, what do you think happened? A couple of years later, there I am. Actually, I think it was my freshman year in college. I decided that I'm going to become a fitness instructor and took the classes, got the certification so that I could start teaching these classes. And it all happened because I had started visualizing it. I had pictured that I was the one who was leading the class. And then when the opportunity arose, it's like I grabbed at it because neurologically I was already ready to be in front of people teaching fitness classes. So another story of mine that really sticks out in my mind, after I got out of college, I have a degree in exercise physiology. And my first job out of college was at a teaching hospital right outside of Boston. And early on in my first year, an education specialist, they came to visit, and these people actually specialize in the ultrasound equipment that we were using. So they're very company specific, and they show up just to help us, tweak images, problem solve. When you're having difficulties, here's, here are some tips and tricks. And I remember seeing this woman the first time, and I just thought to myself, that's the job that I want. So I was within a year of, being in vascular ultrasound. And I quickly realized that this would be the perfect job for me. So not only did I start asking questions to this education specialist, what did I need to learn? What do I need to know? And she gave me pieces of advice. Well, I just kept following that advice, kept learning different things. Took my boards in vascular and also in cardiology. And then one day, the opportunity arose. Now, I literally did, kind of job hop so that I could learn different skills and have this amazing background so that when the opportunity arose and there was a position that was open, that I would be the perfect candidate for this. So wouldn't you know, I'm working at a hospital. And the education specialist is scheduled to come in because one of my fellow employees, she was a little bit new to learning how to do a particular type of test. So the education specialist was coming in to share her knowledge and help her learn this. So I just took it upon myself and I acted like the education specialist. Now, this was the job that I wanted, not specifically her job, but this was the job that I wanted. And I had kept seeing it over and over in my mind that this is what I'm going to do. And this is how I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to actually show other people and educate them and teach them how to use the equipment. And so while she was watching, I was actually answering the questions of my fellow employee and showing her some of my tricks because I knew how to use the equipment and was very well versed in this particular test. And at the end of the day, this education specialist pulled me aside and said, "Have you ever thought about becoming an education specialist?" She had given her notice and was going to be leaving within a month. And so she was actually helping her boss, her manager, find a replacement. I was the perfect candidate. And it all happened because I had a vision for what I wanted. I saw that vision and kept moving towards it. So I hope that this has helped you, not only to start creating your own vision for your business, but actually to see it, to feel it, to spend some time each and every day, actually seeing, step into that moment. So that your body, your brain, your subconscious brain is going to okay, it's got its marching orders. This is what she wants. So we're going to move forward. We're going to notice what are some opportunities. What do I need to know? Like, what do I have to show the conscious brain, so to speak, so that it realizes like, hey, here's the next step. Here's the next step. And neurologically, like everything kind of like falls into place, like the basketball team that didn't actually practice, but they saw practicing. They used that mental imagery, holding the ball, dunking the ball, running with the ball, dribbling, probably even stealing the ball from fellow teammates. So I want you to have that in your mind and put this into practice. And they say that the two best times to actually play around with the subconscious is just before you go to bed, just before you fall asleep, and also upon waking up. Now, if you're following me on Instagram, you probably have heard me say, my morning routine is, bullet coffee, and I also do subconscious reprogramming. So this is where I actually, I'll call it a more advanced form of meditation, but it's like similar. You have to get your body into a very relaxed mode. And then I actually walk through an exercise, and that is training my subconscious brain neurologically to do whatever it is that I happen to be working on at the moment. So I also want to share with you, if you are looking for that private one-on-one support to actually go from point A to point B and get really good results, the results that my clients typically get, and you're probably seeing the kind of results that my clients get. I mean, they're actually speaking. They're using some sort of platform as a lead generation. They are becoming in demand because they're using my in-demand method, which is brain science, a platform to get visible on, and most importantly, having a message that people fall in love with, that draws in the right people. If you're looking for that kind of one-on-one support so that you can take your business to the next level, or just to get the traction that you're looking for, I want to encourage you to book a call with me. You can book that at chatwithla.com, and that link will be down in the show notes. Let's have a conversation to see what it would be like to work together. So till next time, I want you to visualize, decide on what that visualization is, and keep it in your mind. See it, feel it, be in it. And remember, you need to be in demand. Thanks for hanging out with me. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And join me over in my private Facebook group for more tips, community, and free trainings. You'll find the link in the show notes. You can also help this podcast reach more listeners by leaving a review. And as a thank you, each month I pick one of my reviewers to win a free coaching call with me. So if you haven't done so already, please leave a review and you could be the next winner.